Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome back to Sonic X Shadow Generations, where the Black Moon seems to be growing a little bit of a freaky, fungal, tentacle magookus all over its body.
Are you in pain?
No. I feel a connection to the symbol in the sky. It's the same tingle as my new abilities.
It is the power of Black Doom.
Grandfather?
I made a Faustian deal with that monster to create Shadow. Now it seems that we all have to pay for my sins.
So my powers, that symbol, they're all connected.
Maria's illness couldn't be treated on Earth. I could better manage her condition on the Ark, even if her family didn't like the idea. I attempted to develop the ultimate life form as a means to find a cure for Maria. My own experiments reached their frustrating limits. So when that alien warlord reached out to me and offered the miracle of chaos control, I accepted it. Through his DNA, the ultimate life form was born. Black Doom wanted me to make the perfect warrior for him, so these new abilities are all part of his grand design. You two are linked by blood. As you grow in power, so does he. He will either take control of your mind and make you his ultimate weapon, or take over your body and be reborn in
you. You made me the ultimate life form, Professor. Black Doom is a fool. I'll take this power and use it as my own.
Good speech, Shadow, good speech. But, yeah, to kind of go into it a little bit as we have our next area to go to, and I will sort of comment on what the characters are saying as we talk to Maria and Gerald, but, yeah, I think this game is honestly one of the first times, well, at least one of the first times directly, apart from maybe Sonic X, which isn't canonical with the games, or I think it isn't anyway. But yeah, one of the first times I actually tend to go into Maria's whole illness sort of thing. I mean, in Sonic Adventure 2 and Shadow the Hedgehog, yeah, you had to go into the manual and, you know, additional source materials to really get into that, but here it directly addresses it, so... Yeah, I mean, props to the games for finally putting in a vital character element in, you know, the actual fucking game specifically, but... Yeah, it's neither here nor there in this case, and by the way, I also tend to remember a lot of people having apparently a lot of problems with the writing being too verbose for a lot of people. Like, again, the part where Gerald Robotnik mentioned, oh, I made a Faustian deal with Black Doom. Like, apparently a lot of people had problems with Ian Flynn's writing, which, I mean, you know, there's a lot you can say about the man, for good or for ill, about his, well, work at the very least, but, yeah, his script work here is decent. You know, it's nothing to get upset over, I'll say that much. But in any case, what Maria's talking about here is actually rather interesting, talking about how she was able to be led aboard the Ark thanks to, well, the gun commander also being a kid aboard the Ark, and we'll get into that a little bit later, believe you me. But what we're also about to learn is that, yeah, Maria not only has parents, well, kind of obviously really, but, yeah, she also has a baby sister. So not only does Dr. Eggman have another cousin, but it also means more members of the Robotnik family. Da-da-da-dun. Da-da-da-dun. Yeah, my palms are a bit greasy, I can't really snap my fingers like I usually can, but... Yeah, we get to learn a little bit more about the Robotnik family, which, you know, part of the reason why I did the whole Addams Family thing right there. And again, it does get to be quite interesting stuff. I'll talk about this a little bit more when we start reading Gerald Robotnik's diary, like the giggly schoolgirls we are, but, yeah, it's quite fascinating to get more of a history on, you know, the Robotnik family tree, although there is one notable omission, which I guess I didn't want to adapt it on purely because of the fact that, you know, the good doctor himself plays a bit of an important role in the Sonic Generations portion, but... yeah, I've always found it a little bit odd about how characters ended up getting expanded upon here with official backstories. I guess in this case specifically it's because Sonic Team has a little bit more control over the narrative, whereas, and again, I'm only really speaking in terms of, you know, the comic books, particularly with Archie, not so much with IDW, because, you know, Sega was a bit more hands-on with that one, but yeah, like, I mean, in the Archie comic books, and I think maybe even a little bit of Fleetway as well, you had, you know, every character having a fucking backstory and family, like Sonic's parents, Morris and fucking shit cunt the fucking hedgehog, whatever, but until Sega decided to sort of axe that. Whether or not that was to do with the Ken Penders lawsuit, I'm not too sure, but yeah, either way, Sega was very persona non grata on giving characters families, apart from ones that, you know, they'd officially created, like Cream and her mother, or the Babylon Birds, I think. Or were they not meant to be related? Were they just friends? I'm not really too sure on that. But I mean, either way, yeah. Apparently we get family members so long as Sonic Team approves of them. Still, in any case, though, you know, it does make for a fun bit of history. It's not explored as much as I would have liked, but it is enough to, you know, it sort of feel out the details and, you know, give a bit more grounding. Although, there is one thing that I did always want to know in regards to Gerald Robotnik, which I guess, well, we sort of had the last opportunity to really learn about it, but now we never truly will, which is something I'll get into a little bit later. In the meantime, though, we have our next power to get, and boy, you might be getting sick and tired of this slow-paced, blue gunk of darkness that you see in Kingdom Hearts.
Something calls to me. No.
Oh my god, it's the Doomorph! And, yeah, this pretty much allows us to travel across this, slimy purple ooze, dude. And, yeah, all it really serves to do is act as a bit of a swing shot by way of, well, Spider-Man web swing, really. Again, you can either lock on target and have yourself instantly shoot towards, some of the purple ooze, or you just sort of swing across like a, you know, like you're playing a game of Pitfall with the doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. And now we talk to Big. But anyway, we'll get into some of the Doomorph's movesets as we progress throughout the game and go towards our next stage of the game. But in the meantime, though, yeah, Big the Cat. I missed his introduction, so I do apologize to those who wanted to see it, but, yeah, I mean, he does mention going to Soliana, having a bit of an adventure there, and, meeting Princess Elise, so... Yeah, first mention of Princess Elise in a long while without it being turned into, like, oh my god, it's Sonic 06, terrible game, joke. So yeah, now Sonic 06 is finally allowed to just be. Well, I mean, then again, I mean, it's been like 20... Well, nearly 20 fucking years since 06 was released, so I mean, the relevancy of the joke has long since passed, and I mean, there are plenty of other Sonic failures that we can turn our attention to. Like, every game that's ever been made since 1994. Yeah. That's how cynical Sonic fans can get, but... Again, facetiousness aside, though... Yeah, not really too much else to say on that angle. Yeah, here we have some platforming with, you know, items and obstacles reminiscent from Sonic Frontiers, as we ascend to our next area, Chaos Island. Which is quite odd, because I seem to recall Oronos Island, which was one of the last stages of Frontiers, being the stage that they picked, but, yeah, I guess that rumor was greatly exaggerated. But in any case, though, again, true to Frontiers, you would have had many similar platforming challenges out in the overworld, much like what we're dealing with here, so, yeah, lovely little callback to Frontiers, and one that I'm all in favor of. Unless your name is the media nerd who hates Frontiers. But I mean, yeah, putting that aside though, as we collect our next diary page, yeah, guess we get to get a little bit of a head start talking about Frontiers. Well, to some extent anyway, because I mean, I will say that whereas Frontiers had a tendency to either, well, again, I think half use its own level data and half use you know, level data from past Sonic games, which does have a bit of a meaning in context. Yeah, what they really do with the next stage that we're currently going through is actually using the overworld as, well, an action stage layout, which, well, as you're going to be seeing quite soon, ends up being fairly well handled, and... Well, I mean, it does get into a bit of a topic about Frontier's art design, which was one of the talking points, as, you know, we'll get to by the time we finally get to the actual stage in just a few moments, so... Yeah, once again, talking about a lot of things about how Sonic games look. It doesn't look right, some critics had said, about Frontiers, but, in any case, this is pretty much taking place on Chaos Island. And I swear to God, this song sounds like, well, at least the opening part that you're going to be hearing above my waffling, Pyro goes, I don't know, it sounds like they recorded like a mouse sneaking away with a piece of cheese or some shit. Ah, well, but again, to once again talk about the aesthetics of Sonic Frontiers, again, you're seeing a lot of ancient stone tablature around, a lot of ancient structures that have been eroded by time, and including a destroyed Death Egg robot, which was how, well, Eggman first got to the island to begin with, alongside several little outposts that he put throughout the island, you know, a mixture between ancient architecture and technology. Yeah, what I wanted to talk about was Frontier's art design, with you're seeing with some of its enemies right there, with, and again, the cyberspace constructions of many of the island's external defense systems. And I was talking about this with a media nerd, I think it might have been it was either during Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, or I think maybe Sonic Adventure 2 in the comments section, but yeah, about how Sonic Frontiers looks, about how it's a very visually confused game. I have gone very back and forth on this over the point of time, because I mean, I do see what a lot of people are saying in the sense that, again, critics who dislike the art design call it just sort of bland, realistic environments that look like a borrow from, you know, a fucking Unity realistic asset pack. Whereas some other people who do like the game's art design think it creates like a very mysterious sort of atmosphere that gives Frontiers its own sort of vibe, and... I'm somewhere in the middle between that, because I mean, I do see what a lot of people are saying about Frontiers art design, and I know I should be saving this for a Frontiers commentary, but I still need to get my thoughts sorted on that. I mean, I'm not entirely one way or the other, but to be honest, I do think, I don't know, I do think both sides of the argument do have a few points on its, at least purely its looks, but, I don't know, I'm still gonna have to think about this a little bit more. I thought I would have had a more clear-cut answer by the time I got to this commentary, but, no, I suppose not. So, citation needed, so it's a good thing I am planning on covering, Frontiers as both a review and indeed, well, commentary. Because, you know, that's part of what this commentary was initially set out to do. How would I cover Sonic Frontiers? Shadow X Sonic Generations is going to do a small-scale version of that. Good test. But I mean, all that aside though, like, I mean, I do think in terms of being an action stage and how they utilize a lot of the assets you would see throughout the overworld of Chaos Island, I don't know, it does sort of construct itself in a very unique sort of way, like with a lot of the crystal pillars, the volcano in the background, and, you know, a lot of the debris, ancient ruins, and some of Eggman's tech scattered about. I don't know, it does create, like, a very nice sort of atmosphere about it, and, I think it does Frontiers justice. That's pretty much all I'll say about it for now. Apart from when the rats scurry away with a bit of cheese. I don't know. I do really like this techno track, despite how fucking bizarre some of the instrumentation used is. I mean, you don't get this in, like, the original Frontiers version, because, I mean, it's pretty much meant to be a bit more of an upbeat version of the overworld track, but the overworld track is also, like, atmospheric and meant to be mysterious, that gradually builds up to be a little bit more lively as you gradually restore life to the island itself, so... it takes what's meant to be in, like, an evolutionary soundtrack as you continue to explore the island and just... I don't know. It's fun, but... I don't know. I just like it, and that's what I'll say about it for now. But yeah, in any case though, putting aside getting crushed by pillars and utilizing our Doom Morph ability, yeah, by the time you went to some of the slime balls, which pretty much let you stick towards some of the, you know, slime trails up there, yeah, basically you pretty much utilize your Doom Morph to sort of jump up and down up in there. I mean, if I can compare it to anything, it's basically a more free-flowing version of, well, the Spike Wisp from Sonic Colors, really, except rather than having, like, a lengthy transformation sequence, it's pretty much just a one-stop done, go across the slime trail, boost against enemies, and there you're done, which makes it much more expedient. And if you're wondering why I'm bringing that up when we're not even covering Sonic Colors, well, don't worry, the Sonic Generations portion covering Planet Wisp will show you what the pink Spike Wisp is all about. But I'll stay my tongue on that, because that'll be coming much, much later. Whee! By the way, it also surprises me that, at least in terms of the Doom Morph when it was first revealed, because there was actually a reveal trailer that showcased the Doom Morph as a, you know, a sort of slimy, symbiote-esque monster, and now that the cat's pretty much out of the bag, the one thing I was really expecting from excuse me. The one thing I was really expecting from a lot of people's reactions to it would have been, oh no, it's ripping off the Venom symbiote from Spider-Man's Insomniac 2 game. Plot hole. Or whatever. But, yeah, it's pretty much functionally different. It's not an attack of any sort, so, who cares? I mean, you can use it to attack, but it's not really an offensive means. It's more of a means of traversal. Anyway, that's that little, algae area from, some of the runoff from the volcano, and, the more aquatic areas that you see in the game. See, again, like, I mean, if... That's part of why I'm so divided on Frontier's art design. Like, I mean, again, it has some stuff that I suppose you could consider very sort of vanilla art design with just the more natural biomes, but at the same time, you also have, like, unique little quarries and areas like this with, you know, the algae ponds that, you know, don't look like they're out of this area, and there's even, like, a fucking mountainous region with a bit of snow and stuff in that area, so... Again, there are a lot of unique quirks to a lot of Frontier's biomes that just... whatever, you know what, I'll save that for when we get to Frontiers. No need to jump the gasket just yet, Mr. Solidus-Skully, if that's even your real name. Well, it might as well be, considering I've been doing this for fucking 10 years, but... Yeah, anyway, we do some dancing, we do some sliming, we start doom morphing in the hell. But yeah, I mean, the 2D track that we have for, you know, this little level right here, pretty nice, techno and eclectic, and, you know, in keeping with the Frontiers theme, you do still have a few of those, you know, level themes for, you know, many of the challenge acts, so, yeah. I mean, I can say this, Frontiers has a pretty fucking great soundtrack, and I'm glad a lot of the tracks made it in. Not just some of the vocal things by Suicide Silence or, you know, To Xavier or anything, but, you know, also some of the stuff that, you know, came from its original soundtrack as well, which, I'm really happy about. Anyway, this is a little Control the Lift segment. Our main gimmick of the now, jump up and down to avoid those spike balls making craters and Shadow's own balls, whether or not they're spiky, depends on whether or not his pubic hair has quills on it. Wow, that's something I never thought I'd say today, but, yeah. Just, avoid spike balls, because spikes equal ouch, and, yeah, my brain's starting to run on empty a little bit, so, maybe after this, I might go off and grab some dinner and, pet the cat and, I don't know, maybe call it an evening for a session. I don't know how many parts I've recorded today, but, I'm hoping to get at least enough for 2 weeks, so, I'd have to do a little bit extra, or maybe just stop here. Nobody knows but me, Solidus-Skully, avoiding spike balls and, just dodging the obstacles. I remember that tower. It was in 3D when we explored it in Frontiers. But alas, we are finished here. So on that note, I'm Solidus-Skully, keep it new metal, and I'll catch you dudes and dudettes next time. Bye-bye.